Some people just have different priorities. The term quiet quitting was first used in an economics lecture in 2009, and nobody really paid that much attention to it. In 2021, a movement in China called Tangping grew massively in popularity as primarily young people rejected the high ambition corporate culture in exchange for a lower ambition lifestyle. Then in 2022, TikToker Zaid Khan produced a quiet quitting video that catapulted the term into the public eye virtually overnight. Suddenly LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, and every major news outlet was covering quiet quitting. Even obscure ethics YouTubers jumped on the bandwagon. But there's been a bit of controversy about whether quiet quitting is ethical. So let's break it down. Quiet quitting, as it is traditionally defined, is all about work-life balance. It's about doing your job, but not letting your job define you. It's a thing you do. It's not your entire life. Quiet quitters spurn the hustle culture and seek to perform the responsibilities associated with their jobs, but they aren't going above and beyond to try to prove themselves. And that's fine. You don't need to be defined by your career. It's perfectly acceptable to do what you were hired to do and nothing more. One example of quiet quitting that is moral is to take days off completely off. Whether they're sick days, vacation days, or weekends, you can choose to log out of Slack, ignore your email, and otherwise disconnect from work. Another example would be to strictly follow work hours. If your work starts at 8, start at 8. If it ends at 5, end at 5. Obviously, this all depends on your job. Some jobs require you to be on call. It would be really problematic if all the firefighters decided to stop taking calls after hours. Other jobs do require you to stay somewhat connected, but most of them don't. The constant access to the internet combined with the COVID-induced work from home shift has made it incredibly easy for work to creep into every single aspect of your life. And it's okay to set boundaries. It is healthy to set boundaries. Now, there may be consequences to that. You may be passed up for promotions or other opportunities in favor of employees who are going above and beyond. But if you're okay with that trade-off, you shouldn't feel any guilt about choosing to have different priorities. But this can go too far. You still need to do the job that you were hired to do. If you start pushing the boundary to see just how little work you can actually do and still get away with it, odds are you're going to cross the line into time theft, which is when you get paid for work that you aren't doing. That isn't ethical. You signed a contract saying that you would do a certain amount of work in exchange for a certain amount of money, and you should hold to that agreement. But Dallin, you may say, what if my employer really is exploiting their employees in an unethical way? Well, obviously that isn't good. But them being immoral doesn't make it okay for you to be immoral too. People sometimes get caught up in this mentality that the greedy corporate overlords are taking advantage of the common man and fleecing them for all they're worth. And while that does happen, it is far from universal. And it also happens in the other direction, where employees take advantage of their employers and try to squeeze the maximum benefit out of them for the least amount of work possible. Which is also bad. If that's your mindset, you aren't quiet quitting. You're just being an exploitative jerk. You should either collaborate with your employer to see if you can make an arrangement that works for both of you, or you should just do some normal quitting and move on. Find a place that will treat you better and let you do your job and live your life. Because that's what quiet quitting should be. It's kind of a stupid name, but it's about creating a world where work is just one part of your life and not the single dominant force in your life. I'm making an extensive video about time theft, both from the employee and the employer perspective. Once it's done, it will be floating right here and you can watch it. But if it isn't done, there will be some other video that YouTube thinks you're really gonna like, and you can watch that one. Now get out there and make the world a better place.